Welcome to the Rhythm of Money. I'm Indigo, and I'm glad you're here. If this is your first time listening, just know this show is built as a progression. You'll probably get the most from it if you start at the beginning, but you're welcome to start here. This episode can stand on its own. Last time, we talked about the invisible vow, that quiet, unconscious belief many women absorbed early in life, before they were old enough to question it. That goodness and material security don't quite belong together. We looked at where that belief comes from, how it shows up in a financial life, and then we spent a few minutes feeling it in the body. Not to fix it, just to see it. If you took the honest first look I invited you into at the end of that episode, I want to pause and acknowledge that. That kind of looking takes real courage, especially when you've been avoiding it. And I also want to name something today because I know what often happens after an episode like that. You hear it, something shifts, you feel a little lighter, maybe even hopeful. And then life happens. A bill arrives, a balance gets checked, an email from the bank shows up, and your body does that same thing it always has. It tightens, it closes, it looks away. And then you think, well, that didn't last long. So I want to say this clearly. The fact that the old pattern came back does not mean the new awareness didn't matter. It just means that knowing something is not the same as being able to live it in the moment. There's a gap between understanding something and being able to act differently because of it. And that gap has tripped up smart, capable, sincere women for as long as I've been doing this work. It's tripped me up too. And the way we bridge that gap is not by trying harder. Most of us have already tried that. We've read the books, downloaded the apps, made the spreadsheets, or at least promised ourselves we would. Taken the courses maybe, and told ourselves this time will be different. And some of that may have helped up to a point, but then the flinch came back. The looking away came back, because none of those things quite reach the place where the pattern actually lives. The key is having something very small and very specific to reach for when the old pattern shows up. Something you can do in a few seconds. Something that doesn't require you to become a different person first. That's what today is about. I'm going to show you something I call the reset. It's not glamorous. It's not complicated. Honestly, it probably won't impress anyone if you describe it to them. But it is one of the most useful things I know for helping you stay with yourself in a money moment. Here's how it works. When you're about to look at something money related or make a money decision, and you feel that familiar tightening, you do this. You pause. Not for an hour, not for a full meditation, just for a few seconds. And in that pause, you do two simple things. First, you take one breath. Not a dramatic breath, not an intentionally deep breath, just one conscious breath. You notice yourself breathing in, and you notice yourself breathing out. Second, you scan your body, just quickly. Where is the tightness? Where is the heat? Where is the tremble? Or where is the numbness? You don't need to do anything about what you find. You just notice, this is what my body is doing right now as I think about this thing. Really, it should be like a 2-second scan, right? That's it. A pause, a breath, a body scan. Maybe 5 seconds in the entirety of all three. Now, I want to be careful here because I've made this mistake myself with practices like this. I'm not asking you to figure out what the feeling means. I'm not asking you to decide whether you're acting from fear or wisdom or an old wound or anything like that. That is too much to ask in these 5 seconds. Even after decades of practice, when I'm really reacting to something, I usually can't tell in the first moment where it's coming from. Sometimes I need to take a walk. Sometimes I need to sleep on it. And I don't see that as failure anymore because I know that I come back to it. You can come back to it later. That's the important part. The reset is not for figuring things out. It's for something simpler, but very important. It's for returning. Returning to your breath. Returning to your body. Returning to the room you're actually in. Because what the invisible vow does, and what old money patterns do, is pull you out of the present moment and into the loop, the flinch, the story, the shame, the looking away, the self-doubt. And by the time your conscious mind catches up, you're already on autopilot. The reset doesn't tell you what is true. It just brings you back. And from there, you may still open the bill. You may still check the balance. You may still have that conversation about money. Or you may decide, not right now. I need to come back to this after lunch, or after a walk, or tomorrow morning. Either is fine. What you've gained is not certainty. What you've gained is a little bit of space between reflex and choice. And even if the choice you make looks exactly like the choice you would have made before, something has changed because this time you were there. Not just the vow, not just the pattern, you. That's the work. Over and over again, returning. Each time you do it, you teach your nervous system that money decisions don't have to happen in panic mode. The body learns. The shoulders soften. The flinch gets a little quieter. And over time, things that used to feel impossible may begin to feel more neutral. Opening a statement, asking a question, saying, I don't understand that yet. Not easy necessarily, but possible. And possible is a very good beginning. I want us to practice it together now. So this next part is going to slow down a little. We're going to walk through the reset once so your body has some sense of it before you take it into your week. Now, if you're driving right now, please keep your attention on the road. You can come back to this part later. For everyone else, let yourself settle wherever you are. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw release. Let your breath become a little deeper. Not because I told you to, just because it can. Notice the chair underneath you or the ground beneath your feet. Something steady is supporting you right now. Now bring your mind to one small money moment. Not a big one, not the worst, just something ordinary. Maybe it's checking your account balance later today, or opening a bill you had set aside, or maybe listening to that voicemail from your adult kid who's probably asking for rent money again. Maybe seeing a bank notification come through, or maybe a financial conversation you've been putting off with your spouse. Something specific, but manageable. Bring it gently into your mind. You're not doing it right now, you're only imagining it. And now notice as you think about this money moment, has your body already responded? Maybe something happened in your shoulders or your jaw or your chest or your stomach. Or maybe you felt nothing at all. That's fine too. Just notice. No fixing, no explaining. Just let it be there in your awareness. Now we do the reset. Take one deliberate breath. Let it come in. Let it go out. Just with awareness. Now scan your body. Where is it tight as you think about this money moment? Where is it closed? Where does it feel numb or held? Now notice this. You're here. You came back. Even just by imagining that money moment and taking one conscious breath, you return to the room you're in, or the walk you're on, or wherever you are in this breath. Take a moment with that. Notice what shifted, maybe only a little, maybe by more than you expected. And notice the part of you that is doing the noticing. The part that can scan the body and see what is there. That part is not the vow. That part is not the pattern. That part is something steadier underneath all of that. She has been there the whole time. Quiet, patient, capable of returning to herself. Every time you use the reset, you're not only building a new habit, you're also keeping company with her, and that matters. Take a deeper breath and come fully back into the room you're in. From this place, if that money moment were real, you might go ahead and do the thing. Open the bill, check the balance, listen to the voicemail, have the conversation. Or you might decide this feels too forced right now. I'm going to come back to it later. Either one can be the right choice. And if you find yourself trying to analyze the feeling in the middle of the reset, trying to figure out where it came from, what it means, whether it's old or new, let that go. That is the work for later. The reset is just for the return. Trust that the return is enough right now. Now, I want to be honest about something because I know how this can sound. 5 seconds? A pause? A breath? A body scan? In 5 seconds? And that's supposed to matter with something as loaded as money? I understand the skepticism. Something this small doesn't feel proportionate to something this big. So rather than ask you to take my word for it, let me show you where this might matter in real life. There are 5 ordinary money moments where the reset can be useful. You don't need to use it everywhere this week. Just choose one place to try it. One is enough. First, before you check your account balance. For a lot of women, even that small swipe or click carries a little dread. So right before you check, pause, breathe, scan the body. Then look. 2, before you open a bill or a financial email, a credit card statement, a bank notification, a piece of mail you've been avoiding. Before you open it, pause, breathe, scan the body. Then decide what comes next. 3, right before a purchase you're not sure about. Maybe you're in line, or maybe you're about to click checkout on the computer or the mobile phone. The reset gives you a little space inside that moment. What do you do with the space? Well, that's your business. 4, when you hear a financial term you don't understand. This one is important. So many women freeze in that moment, smile, nod, and move on without saying, wait, can you explain that? The flinch there is often shame. The reset gives you just enough room to say, I don't understand that yet. That one word, yet, can carry a lot. Pause, breathe, scan. I don't understand that. Could you say a little more about it? And 5. When someone asks you for money, a family member, a friend, an adult child, or maybe a child, partner, that moment when someone asks has its own particular pressure. Many women say yes before their body even gets a vote. Use the reset there. Buy yourself a few seconds. Then say what you say. All right, 5 places, okay? One simple reset in one of those 5 places this week. That's your practice for the week. A pause, a breath, a body scan. Now, before you go, let me bring together what we covered today. There is always a gap between understanding something and being able to live it in the moment. That gap doesn't close by trying harder. It closes when you have something very small and specific to reach for. The reset gives you that. 5 seconds to come back to yourself before the old pattern takes over. It doesn't tell you what to decide. It gives you the space to choose. That's everything for today, and I'd love to know one thing before you go. Of those 5 money moments, which one feels most relevant for where you are right now? Or is there a 6th one, something I didn't name, where you know the flinch lives for you? I'd love to hear that. If you're listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, leave it in the comments. I read everything that comes in, and your answers help me understand what's actually landing. And if there's one woman in your life who might need this particular episode today, sharing it with her is one of the kindest things you can do for her and for the show. In the next episode, we're going to look at a pattern I've seen in so many women. The pattern of pouring out until there's almost nothing left to circulate, and what to do about it without having to stop being who you are. That's where we'll go next. This is the rhythm of money, and you are living your true note in this very moment.